I have to ask you a question before we even get started. Did you have coffee this morning without drinking a glass of water first? Or did you just wake up, head straight for the kitchen, turn on the coffee maker, and start your day without even thinking about a single drop of water? If that sounds like you might be sabotaging your blood sugar every single day without even realizing it, all because of a habit that seems completely harmless. And here is what worries me the most. Most of the people I see in my clinic are doing absolutely everything right. They cut out the sugar, they take their medication on time, they go for their morning walks, and yet their glucose levels just refuse to budge. The frustration is overwhelming. And the answer to this mystery is usually hidden in something so simple that nobody even thinks to look there. It is in the water, not just how much water you drink, but how and when you drink it. Hi, I am Dr. Sarah Mitchell. I have spent over 20 years working with patients who fight every single day to keep their blood sugar under control. In this video, I am going to show you the most common mistakes people make when hydrating. These are errors that silently drive up your blood sugar, and I will give you the exact step-by-step protocol I give my patients to turn water into a powerful ally in managing diabetes. Stay with me until the end, because the final step is the one that surprises everyone the most. Let's start with the scale of the problem, because it is much bigger than most people imagine. According to the CDC, over 38 million Americans are living with diabetes, and nearly 100 million more have prediabetes. That is about 1 in every 3 adults. And those are just the people who have been diagnosed. The World Health Organization estimates that more than half of adults with diabetes worldwide don't even know they have the disease. In the U.S., the number of cases has skyrocketed over the last few decades, and the fastest growing type is type 2, the one directly linked to lifestyle. But the statistic that keeps me up at night is this. Among people over the age of 65, the prevalence jumps to more than 25%. That is 1 out of every 4 seniors whose glucose is already out of control. This is not just a number. It is chronic fatigue. It is wounds that take weeks to heal. It is vision that slowly fades. It is your heart and your kidneys paying the price for years of excess sugar circulating in your bloodstream. And now I need to tell you something that completely changed the way I treat my patients. There is a little-known hormone called vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone. When you don't drink enough water, your body produces more vasopressin. And what this hormone does, besides retaining water in your kidneys, is signal your liver to release more glucose into your bloodstream. A study conducted in France and published in the journal Diabetes Care followed over 3,600 people for 9 years and reached a conclusion that blew me away. Those who drank less than 34 ounces of water a day had a significantly higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes, specifically because of this vasopressin mechanism. In other words, chronic dehydration isn't just an inconvenience, it is a real metabolic trigger for blood sugar spikes. Think of it like an open faucet. When the water level in your blood drops, the blood becomes more concentrated. Imagine a pot of beef broth on the stove. If you let half the water evaporate, the broth gets much thicker and saltier, right? The same thing happens to your blood when you are dehydrated. The sugar already circulating becomes more concentrated, your glucose readings go up, and your insulin, which was already struggling to do its job, becomes completely overwhelmed. It is a silent, vicious cycle that sets in drop by drop, day after day. And the worst part is that after age 50 or 60, our brain's thirst mechanism becomes less sensitive. You could be severely dehydrated without even feeling thirsty. Your body doesn't warn you. And that is exactly why so many patients in this age group come into my office with unstable glucose and no idea why. But before I show you what to do, I need to show you what you might be doing wrong, because there are 3 very common mistakes I see every single week in my practice, and I can almost guarantee you are making at least one of them. The first mistake is only drinking water when you feel thirsty. It seems logical to drink when you're thirsty, doesn't it? But thirst is actually a late-stage alarm signal. By the time your mouth feels dry and your throat is parched, your body has already lost an average of 2% of the water it needs. For a healthy person, that's an annoyance. For someone trying to control their blood sugar, it's a real problem. Remember that vasopressin mechanism I mentioned? It is activated long before you ever feel thirsty. So by the time you reach for a glass, your liver has been pumping out extra glucose for quite a while. You need to drink water proactively, not reactively. The second mistake is drinking huge volumes of water all at once. Some people go the entire morning without drinking anything, and then, out of guilt, they chug 20 ounces right before lunch. That doesn't work. Your stomach and intestines can only absorb about 8 to 9 ounces of water every 15 minutes. Anything more than that goes straight to your bladder and is flushed out before it can benefit a single cell in your body. It is like trying to water a dried-out garden by dumping a whole bucket on it at once. The soil is hard, the water just runs off the sides, and the roots stay thirsty anyway. Hydration needs to be slow and steady throughout the day. The third mistake, and this one surprises a lot of people, is drinking ice-cold water. I get it. On a hot day, a glass of ice water sounds great. But for your metabolism, especially if you have insulin resistance, very cold water causes vasoconstriction, which is a narrowing of your blood vessels. Think of your arteries as highways where glucose and insulin need to travel. When the temperature drops suddenly, those highways narrow, the flow slows down, and insulin has a harder time reaching your cells. The ideal temperature for hydration is room temperature or slightly warm, between 72 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. It's that simple. Now that you know what not to do, I'm going to teach you the protocol that actually works. I call it the 4 pillars method, and you can start it today with zero cost, no extra meds, and no radical diets. The first pillar is the morning ritual. This is the most important one of all. When you wake up, your body has gone hours without a single drop of liquid. Your blood is concentrated, your vasopressin is high, and there is a special biological window right after you wake up where your insulin sensitivity is at its highest point of the day. This is the moment where hydration has the biggest impact. The instruction is simple. Before anything else, before coffee, before breakfast, before checking your phone, drink about 10 to 12 ounces of warm water. Add a small pinch of unrefined sea salt or pink Himalayan salt, not regular table salt. That pinch of salt provides sodium, potassium, and magnesium in a natural balance that signals to your adrenal glands that everything is fine, reducing your morning cortisol spike. Cortisol is the stress hormone, and one of its main jobs is to dump glucose into your blood first thing in the morning. This ritual is the simplest and most powerful way to start your day with your blood sugar on your side. Let me tell you about a patient named Arthur, 73 years old, a retired truck driver. He came to me with an A1C of 8.4%, which is well above the target. He took his meds, he cut out white bread, he stopped drinking soda, but his numbers wouldn't budge. When I asked about his hydration, he said, "Doctor, I only drink when I'm thirsty, and the first thing I do every morning is have a big cup of black coffee." We changed only that. We started the morning ritual before the coffee. In 3 months, his A1C dropped to 7.1%. Same man, same meds, same daily walk. What changed was the timing and the way he hydrated. Before we move to the second pillar, I have a quick favor to ask. If what you're learning here makes sense, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps me keep bringing serious medical information to more people. And tell me in the comments, do you drink water before your morning coffee? Just type yes or never thought of it. I'd love to know. The second pillar is pre-meal hydration. This is one of the simplest and most underrated secrets for controlling post-meal blood sugar spikes. The idea is to drink about 5 ounces of water roughly 15 minutes before each main meal, not during the meal and not right after. Before. Why? Because that glass of water activates digestive enzymes, and by slightly diluting gastric juices, it actually slows down the absorption of carbohydrates. Think of the difference between dropping a sugar cube into a glass of water versus dissolving it slowly. In the first case, the sugar hits all at once. In the second, it distributes smoothly. That is exactly what happens to glucose when you hydrate before eating. It enters the bloodstream gradually, avoiding those sharp spikes that exhaust your pancreas. The American Diabetes Association emphasizes that hydration is essential for daily management, and this is the most practical way to put that into action. The third pillar is hydration during movement. When you walk, exercise, work in the garden, or even just climb the stairs, your muscles are burning glucose for fuel. This is a critical time to stay hydrated. I tell my patients to sip about 4 ounces of water for every 15 minutes of activity. Don't wait until you're finished, and don't wait for thirst. Drink while you move. And here is a special trick my older patients love. Add a tiny pinch of ground cinnamon to your water bottle during exercise. Cinnamon is a natural insulin sensitizer. It helps open the doors to your cells so glucose can enter more easily. Research shows that minerals like magnesium, often found in trace amounts in good water and sea salt, significantly improve insulin sensitivity. Cinnamon works through a similar mechanism. It's safe, cheap, and works great as a supplement to your water. The fourth pillar is the night cup. This is the one that surprises people the most. While you sleep, your body is still working, repairing cells, regulating hormones, and processing the day's glucose. But if your body doesn't have enough water and minerals overnight, it goes into alarm mode, releasing stress hormones that show up as high fasting glucose the next morning. That number you measure right when you wake up that seems high for no reason, this might be why. The solution is simple. Drink about 8 ounces of warm water 20 minutes before bed. And if your doctor approves, consider adding a dose of magnesium to that water, about 200 milligrams of magnesium citrate or glycinate. A major meta-analysis published in the journal Nutrients confirmed that magnesium supplementation in people with diabetes significantly reduced fasting blood glucose levels. Magnesium is a cofactor for over 300 biochemical reactions and plays a central role in insulin regulation. People with diabetes often have much lower magnesium levels than the general population, and fixing that deficiency can make a real difference. But wait, because now we get to the part that truly transforms my patients' routines. The question I get every week is, "Doctor, how much water should I actually drink?" Forget the 8 glasses a day rule. That is generic and doesn't account for your weight, age, or activity level. The formula I use in my clinic is more precise. Take your weight in pounds and multiply it by 0.5. That gives you the minimum number of ounces you should drink per day. If you weigh 160 pounds, your base goal is 80 ounces a day. Add 15 ounces for every hour of moderate physical activity. And how do you know if you're on target? The most reliable indicator isn't an expensive test, it's the color of your urine. Pale yellow, almost clear, is the sign that you are well hydrated. If it's completely clear like water, you might be drinking too fast and flushing out minerals. If it's dark yellow or amber, that is an emergency signal. You are dehydrated and need to drink immediately, but slowly, in small sips. To make this easy, use the 3-bottle strategy. Get a 24-ounce reusable bottle and aim to finish it 3 times a day. 1 from morning until lunch, 1 from lunch until mid-afternoon, and the third by 6 p.m., so you don't overtax your bladder at night. Keeping the bottle in sight is a powerful silent reminder. I want to tell you about Sarah, a 68-year-old retired teacher. She came to me with fasting glucose over 180, always tired, with swollen legs at the end of the day. She said she couldn't lose weight no matter what she ate. When we looked at her routine, she was drinking maybe 30 ounces of water a day and only when she felt parched. We implemented the 4 pillars: the morning ritual, water before meals, hydration during her daily walk, and the magnesium cup at night. In 2 months, her fasting glucose dropped to 138. The swelling in her legs vanished. Her sleep improved. She told me, "Doctor, I never thought water was this important." And that is exactly the point. Nobody teaches us the real value of hydration. We learn about pills, diets, and blood tests. But water, the most basic element of our bodies, which makes up about 60% of an adult's weight, gets almost no attention. But there is another side to this equation I have to warn you about. Just as the right water can be your ally, there are liquids that silently sabotage everything you're trying to build. Soda is the first villain, even diet or zero-calorie versions. The concentrated sugar in regular soda spikes glucose violently, but diet soda isn't innocent. The phosphorus in most diet sodas competes with magnesium, blocking the absorption of that essential mineral I mentioned. And recent studies suggest artificial sweeteners can indirectly mess with your glycemic response by altering your gut microbiome. If you want flavor, the best option is sparkling mineral water with a squeeze of lime, some ginger, or mint leaves. It's refreshing and won't touch your glucose. The second warning is coffee on an empty stomach. I'm not saying give up coffee. That would be too radical for most people. But drinking coffee as the very first thing in the morning before any water is a strategic mistake. Caffeine on an empty stomach stimulates your adrenals and spikes that morning cortisol. That cortisol tells your liver to dump stored glucose. The result is that you haven't even eaten yet, but your blood sugar is already climbing. The fix is easy. First, the warm water with salt, then the coffee. Before we wrap up, here is a practical summary you can start today. When you wake up, drink 10 to 12 ounces of warm water with a pinch of sea salt. This is your metabolic activation. 15 minutes before each meal, drink a small glass of room temperature water to smooth out the glucose entry into your blood. During any physical activity, hydrate every 15 minutes with small sips and maybe add a pinch of cinnamon. Before bed, have 8 ounces of warm water and talk to your doctor about magnesium. Throughout the day, use the weight-based formula to hit your target, using the 3-bottle method and checking your urine color as a guide. None of this costs extra money. None of this replaces the treatment your doctor prescribed. But all of this can amplify the results you are already working so hard for, from the inside out, in the most natural way possible. And always, before making changes to your health routine, talk to your physician. That is a rule that never changes. I want to close with something I've been telling my patients for years. You are not too old to get better. It is not too late. Your body has an incredible capacity to respond when you give it the right conditions. And sometimes, the simplest condition is the most transformative. Health doesn't start at the pharmacy. It starts in your kitchen, in the bottle you carry, and in the glass you drink before you eat. Take care of your sugar, take care of your body, and remember, every sip at the right time is an act of self-love. If you made it this far, do me a huge favor. Share this video with someone you love who needs this information. A family member, a close friend, someone you know is struggling with their glucose and doesn't know where to start. This could be the one piece of information that changes everything for them. In the next video, I'm going to reveal the 5 foods that most people think are healthy, but are actually spiking your blood sugar without you even realizing it. You won't want to miss it. Hit the notification bell so you're the first to know. I am Dr. Sarah Mitchell, and I'll see you next time. Take good care of yourself.